Hello everyone, it's the Left-Handed Lady today coming at you with our October plan with me, our first plan with me in this brand new journal. And I'm going to go in with a moon and fall color flower theme for this month. October has 2 full moons, so I just thought that this was perfectly fitting. I'm going to go in with my Crayola Super tips this month instead of my Tombow brush pens that I almost always lean towards. Trying to push myself to use a little bit more of the stationery items that I have and go to more elaborate themes. So I'm limiting my color palette. I think I'm only using 5 colors this month, and I am going towards a heavily illustrated theme for this month. So on this front cover page, I've got a crescent moon with some flowers peeking out from behind of it. I'm going in with that light gray and coloring in the whole moon, as well as a little bit darker gray to make the craters and divots. I'm not making a realistic style moon, very cartoon-esque. Everybody knows that that's kind of my theme with my illustrations. Very cartoony, childlike. These Crayola Super Tips are a great alternative for beginners because I believe you can get like a 100 pack for under $20. It is a great alternative to the Tombow brush pens. They're very vibrant and really easy to use. So I'm going to go in with our orangey yellow and do some like sunflower-esque flowers. Just making as even as I can some very pointed end petals and then filling in all the gaps with more pointed end petals. Then I'm going to go in with our it's like a orangey brown color and making just some little foliage stems. So you could think of these as like dried leaves or wheat-esque plant. Like I said before, these are not realistic, very whimsical-esque style is how I draw, and that's what I was going for. Then taking a really deep brown and filling in the centers of those. And I decided to go in and put a little bit of green just because you can't, in my head, you can't have flowers, even if they are whimsical flowers, without green stems. So you can opt to do a darker or lighter brown as your stems to make it a little bit more fall-esque. But then I am going to just go in with a brown fine liner and outline those leafy brown areas, and that's all I'm going to outline. I'm straying away from my black outlining this month, trying to give a little bit more of an illustrative spin on my pieces and only do a little bit of outlining throughout the piece. Then I'm going to go back in with my gray and highlight over October 2020, and that's about it for our cover page. And on the left side I am going to put our little quote. I just made a small box with the orangey yellow color that I used from before. and going to make sure that I put my head in front of the whole scene, because that's what you love to see, isn't it? I'm just going to put in with my Sharpie fine liner the quote for this month, which is, "She was devoted to the moon. In its darkness, she found comfort. In its light, she found hope." I am honestly not sure where I heard this quote, but I believe I heard it when I was little, and it just stuck with me, and I felt like it went perfect with this theme. So I'm just finishing that out with a little bit of black outlining on the box, and that's about it for our cover page. Now let's get right into our monthly spread. And I'm doing the same type of layout that I did in the month before, where I did the October events on one side and my keeping track on the other in a chart slash list style. And this, like I said last month, has worked really well so far. I have really no need for a big 2-page calendar spread anymore. I feel like this helps me organize my true events a little bit better instead of filling in little random things that I don't need because I have more space. It's also really nice for me to keep my tracker and my events all on one page, really easy to go back and glance at. So I'm just going in with a full moon, dividing the page and looking behind each of these charts, as well as the same type of flowers going throughout them, using the same color palette as our cover page. My favorite thing that I've learned about using watercolor based markers like these is that when you lay them down over a pencil sketch, it's actually extremely easy to erase your pencil sketch afterwards. So you don't have to worry about having a whole bunch of pencil sketch lines while you're coloring in, because you end up being able to erase almost everything that you have. As long as you don't go too heavy-handed with your color, then you should be fine. And that's what I love about these. Also makes them perfect for beginners. Just like we did on our cover page, we're going in with a brown fine liner and just accentuating those dried leaves in the background, and that's the only detailing we're going to add to this. It's very hard for me, but I also really liked the way that this ended out being with just the leaves outlined and not the flowers or anything else. So I think I will be continuing this throughout this month and maybe trying it in further months. So just going over the titles with that gray again, just like we did with the October on the front page. And I'm trying something a little bit new. I want to get a really good clean line on these two columns with the date and the days on them. So I'm taping off with washi tape and going in with that really dark gray on the first part, and then using it again on the other side, making sure that I don't wipe it too much because it will carry some of the paint, the marker, over to the other page, and you need to be careful when you're doing that. I'm also using it to base out the light gray areas as well. Then I'm going through with a gray Papermate, a little bit thicker of a pen. I believe these are a 0.1. And just outlining my box on both sides. Not each individual date, just the whole entire box, just to make sure it pops out from the illustration in the background. And then I'm going to take my yellow and my brown and just pull my marker towards me and highlight every other day with the yellow and the opposite days with that yellowy orange brown. I love the way that this turned it out, and I honestly don't mind the wobbly lines. I think it makes it look a little bit more natural and fluid. Now I am going to go in with my white gel pen and do the dates along the right side and the days of the week as well. As you can tell, I switched to a thicker gel pen. For some reason my 0.5 gel pen is not working, and it hasn't worked since I got it out of the package. So if y'all could leave me a recommendation for a 0.5 gel pen that will actually work, I would love that. Because these Jelly Roll gel pens, the only ones I can get to work are the 0.8 and the 1. And then going back in with that gray, thicker Papermate pen and dividing out my tracker page and labeling the top. And that's about all for that. And then we move on to our first week in October and the ending week of September. And I decided to do very similar layout to what I did in August for our planet theme. I just mixed the moons with what the actual phases were and flowers alternating between. So Thursday the 1st is actually a full moon, and before that it is, I believe, waxing and waning. I'm completely wrong, and I know that I'm going to get in so much trouble for being wrong about that, but you get the gist. I worked it with the moon phases, and I plan to do that throughout the month, or at least try to. So I'm just using my black Sharpie to add in the negative space on the sides of Monday and Sundays, and using the same technique from our cover pages. Now, I want to apologize because I understand that you will hear odd noises or even dog barking in the background. I have recently moved to a new place and have yet to figure out how to record my voiceovers smoothly. I currently have the air conditioning turned off and 2 of my dogs locked up, which has not helped, clearly. So I will be figuring it out and the audio will be better next video. But I wanted to get this one out for y'all, just so that you had it, because I'm really proud of this setup, and I hope that y'all are as well. Now, if you're curious on how I set up my weeklies, I do 7 spaces wide, all except for the middle day, because that crease line I count as a space, but it's technically 6 spaces printed in the Scribbles That Matter journal. I'm sure that it's very different on any other bullet journal that you use. You just need to calculate how many spaces you have and figure out how it would fit. A couple people have asked me to do a horizontal layout, and I may in the future, but from past journaling, I know that my brain doesn't work very well in setting up lists in a horizontal layout. So this vertical layout with the columns really, really helps me and organizes my thoughts much better than a horizontal layout should. But if y'all are truly really interested in that, I will try my hardest to give you at least one weekly spread in the future of a horizontal layout. Going through with the colors in rainbow order, I guess, so from lightest to darkest, and writing in the dates and the days, and then taking my Sharpie fine liner and blocking out all of the boxes. And that's pretty much it for this week. It's super easy to set up. You don't have to illustrate this much. I find it more pleasing to the eye whenever I have a little bit of a doodle at the top. Makes it a little bit easier for me to open up my journal every day. But that's just me. And that's this month's spread. I hope everyone has enjoyed it. If you would, please give it a like and a share. Comment down below what you would like to see more of or what you loved from this spread, and I will be sure to reply to you. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!